Hey everyone, welcome along to The Savage Filmmaker. I am Guy Pigden, and today is a very special day because I have just got my hands on the brand new Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. It's just been released and...
Great Scott!
Doc?
Marty McGuy!
Doc, what are you doing here? I'm about to do an unboxing of my brand new camera.
Where I'm from, that's an old camera.
Old? It just came out.
I'm from the future, March 2021, almost 3 years from now.
The future?
In the future, Blackmagic Design have released another pocket camera, the 6K PRO.
Wait, you're telling me they built a 6K camera in the body of a pocket?
Well, if you're gonna revolutionize the film industry, why not do it in style?
This is heavy.
Quite light, actually. They're still using carbon fiber polycarbonate composite.
You mean plastic?
No time to explain.
So what's wrong in the future, Doc? I mean, do we all start arsehole community Facebook groups about the camera or something?
No, Marty, it's much worse than that. It's the battery life.
Battery life?
You see, the Pocket 6K Pro battery runs on an MPF 570 with a maximum power of 3,500 milliamps.
What the hell is a milliamp?
It means the battery's run time is less than an hour. 54 minutes to be precise.
That's terrible, Doc. How's anyone going to survive a long shoot?
Exactly. We might be looking at a disruption in the space-time continuum when the Blackmagic Design fanboys reject it and it's considered a failure.
So? They'll just release another one.
Great Scott, don't you see, Marty? In the future, you own the Pocket 6K Pro, and if that camera fails, not only will you take a huge hit to your indie credibility, but all your YouTube reviews of it will be a total waste of time. And if they mean nothing, you'll cease to exist.
Oh no, Doc, we've got to stop it. What do we do?
Well, I think I've invented something that will fix the 6K Pro's problem. Now, if my calculations are correct, this will extend the camera's runtime for over 3 hours.
Wow, Doc, that's great, but what do you need me to do?
Marty, hold on to this for the next 3 years. When you get your 6K Pro, you can be the first to test and review it. You're gonna take this battery back to the future!
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Blackmagic cameras having poor battery life. Today, I'm talking about the battery life of the 6K Pro and reviewing the battery grip extension, which I purchased with the camera and I briefly discussed in my unboxing video. Now I've had time to do some further tests, and to be quite frank, I'm very underwhelmed. Back at the dawn of man, when Moses parted the Red Sea and dinosaurs ruled the earth, the original pocket camera was released and its battery life sucked. And this was on an actual pocket-sized camera. You know, one you could actually fit in your pocket. You could never fit a Pocket 6K Pro in anyone's pocket unless you had a pair of MC Hammer's poo pants. Since the original Pocket, Blackmagic cameras deliver stunning images while also never figuring out how to deliver solid battery life. Unfortunately, the Pocket 6K Pro follows in exactly the same footsteps as its predecessors. When testing a single MPF battery, I got approximately 37 minutes with the off-brand MPF and 52 minutes with the native battery that comes with the camera. This test was done continuously recording at 4K and ProRes LT with the camera display set to 1500 nits. You could speculate that shooting at 6K B-RAW might require even more juice, but to be perfectly honest, I don't have the time or hard drive space to waste recording a wooden owl on my dirty table to run that test, so we'll have to assume they're going to be similar. Guys, I have a life, okay? I can't just be sitting around recording this owl all day. So, we know that the battery life on the 6K Pro is bad. Some might say terrible. And the idea that we should celebrate being given an extra 10 to 20 minutes runtime with these Sony batteries is laughable. Blackmagic be over here like, yep, we fixed the problem. No, you didn't. But I knew the deal I was making going into this purchase, considering Blackmagic's track record when it comes to battery life. I had an ace up my sleeve. The battery grip extension, promising 3 hours of record time, which is exactly what we all need. Using the battery sled, you can put 2 batteries into the pack along with the one already in the camera, and you should be good for a whole 3 hours. But That wasn't my experience. Now, I have 6 of these MPF batteries that fit the camera with varying milliamp hours, so this test is not precise, but running both sets of batteries, I got approximately 76 minutes with one run and 77 minutes with the other. Or to put it another way, under half of the touted runtime. Now, given that some of my batteries are lower milliamp than Blackmagic supplied battery, let's just multiply their own battery by 3. We get 157 minutes, which is definitely still significantly under the magical 3-hour mark. In fact, the only time I got over 3 hours of runtime is when I plugged in my 95 watt-hour V-mount battery into the Pocket 6K Pro, which easily gave me over 3 hours before I decided to stop recording so I could eat my dinner. But isn't the whole point of a battery pack for us Blackmagic users to move away from V-mount solutions? Yes, if the screen wasn't as bright and I wasn't continuously recording, things might last longer. But if you're going to pay $145 for a battery grip, you want it to hold up under tough conditions. So far, so underwhelming. But the issues don't really end there. First of all, the battery meter showing the battery's charge seems to be wildly inaccurate. After powering down, I tried turning the power back on to find that the batteries weren't quite dead, and they were reading completely different charges. I tried recording for about 2 minutes, it turned off, I turned it back on, now it says that one battery is full and the other 2 are in the red. Right, so I've just set it to record again, because it does say that there's still battery left. There does appear to be absolutely no consistency to the batteries and whether a battery is low or not low or which battery's low. But all of these bars keep changing and flipping around, which is not very helpful. Each time the camera was switched on, the battery levels would be different, meaning the charge indicator seems quite meaningless. The other issue is simply the ergonomics and design of the pack itself. As mentioned in the unboxing, the battery pack connects to the camera via pins, and to make this connection, you must remove a small panel on the underside of the camera. Unfortunately, you have to unscrew this panel, and it's very small and fiddly to do. Then you're left with the problem that to protect the connectors on the underside of the camera, you have to reattach the bottom panel whenever you're not using the battery grip, which is time consuming and frustrating, as is taking it off all over again the next time you're ready to use the battery grip. Also, due to the fact that these pins are exposed and unsupported on the battery grip, it feels like you could very easily damage them or bend them at some point through regular use. The next issue is that once connected, the battery grip just doesn't feel 100% secure. It's just not snug enough against the body of the 6K Pro, no matter how hard you tighten it. It's not loose, but it feels like it's just not quite locked in. There's some give to it that shouldn't be there. It feels just a bit cheap, and if you were to have a very heavy lens on the camera, this play would be even more noticeable. Like all of Blackmagic's hardware, it hasn't truly been integrated in the best possible way. Finally, there's the question of how this added battery pack affects the feel of the camera overall. And, well, there's bad news here too. The real issue is the camera already has a long nose that accommodates the EVF and 6K sensor. Once you add a lens to that, the whole thing gets even more front heavy. So what happens when you put on the battery pack? Well, unless you have an incredibly short lens, things are going to get very droopy. And let's be honest, fellas, nobody likes things getting droopy. Having such a poorly balanced rig is a recipe for disaster, as one day, after it tips over onto the lens, it would be very easy to damage that lens through its overbalancing. As mentioned in my previous rig build, I've been using the XSWX Powerbase Edge V-mount battery underneath the camera rig and connecting it using a DTAP to waipu cable. It'll run the Pocket 6K for over 90 minutes of continuous recording. This also has the added bonus of balancing the rig and making it a bit less front heavy. The Powerbase can also power additional peripherals through the extra DTAP and USB ports, while the battery grip cannot. So do I recommend the 6K Pro Battery Grip? No. With the inability to accurately gauge battery life, It's shorter than advertised runtime, and it's very awkward ergonomics. I don't think it's going to suit many 6K Pro shooters. The exception would be for those using a tripod extensively, but even then it still feels like a good idea, badly executed. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. If so, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. I'll have more Pocket 6K Pro videos, including a full review on the way, along with more tips around independent filmmaking. I am the Savage Filmmaker, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, Doc, I'll test it in 3 years' time. But what else happened in those 3 years? I mean, I want to know about my future. Was there any events of historical significance that would be important for me to know right now? Anything at all?
Just worry about the battery thing.